I used to play Five Nights at Freddy's all the time in high school. I was right at the ripe age where I wasn't a super fan of the game, and I wasn't too old to where I had never heard of it. I was old enough to where I could play the games and like them, watch theories, and not get too wrapped up in it and obsess over it like some kids today are. To make my teenage self happy, I went to the theaters and I watched the new Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's, released in 2023 and directed by Emma Tammy. It is a new take on the beloved game franchise, and they add a little bit more of nuance and more story beats into the movie than they did in the previous games. In the games, you kind of had to figure out what the story is on your own. You had to go through all the little mini games. You had to figure out what all of it meant, and you had to watch loads of game theory videos to understand what the story is. So let's get into the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. We follow the lead character, Mike Schmidt. He ends up taking a job as a night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The place had been shut down for a very disturbing reason, that 5 children went missing back in the 80s. Mike doesn't know that until the very end, so fuck. So the reason he took the security guard job was because he needs to provide for his youngest sister, Abby. Tends to have dreams about these 5 dead children. Turns out it's the animatronics that are in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. So after a couple nights, Mike starts realizing that there's something a little bit fishy about Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There is a cop who comes over and has a special interest in Mike and the place itself. And you can tell when you're watching it that she knows a little bit more than what she's leading on. Mike ends up finding out the truth that the 5 children that went missing at Freddy Fazbear's were actually stuffed into the animatronics in the pizza place. Abby has grown a little bit close with these 5 missing children that she sees in her dreams. So she ends up wanting to go to Freddy Fazbear's to hang out. And her babysitter was actually working with her aunt, who has been trying to own her for whatever reason. And Mike's just like, no, I'm a good brother. I'm gonna... Fuck. The aunt ends up having the grand idea to just demolish Freddy Fazbear's to make Mike look bad. So that made the animatronics mad, and they killed them. So without a babysitter, Mike ends up having to take Abby with him to work. And Abby starts getting closer with the animatronics, and they start having a bond. So strong that the animatronics end up wanting to make Abby just like them. So they try to murder a kid like how they were murdered so they could have another friend. Well, it all turns out that the dude who hired him was none other than William Afton, the guy who killed the children in the first place. And it's revealed that he actually killed Mike's younger brother, Garrett. Plot twist! So he ends up beating up Mike pretty bad, and Vanessa, we find out that is actually William Afton's daughter, and she ends up wanting to stop her dad's reign of terror, and she ends up getting stabbed by him. And all the animatronics are with William because they don't remember what exactly happened to them in the past. So they don't know that he was actually the one who killed them until Abby drew a picture depicting what really happened, and then the children understood what that picture meant and decided to turn on William Afton, locking him in the suit that he was wearing to kill people. So now he is forever stuck in that suit, being just tortured endlessly by spikes going into his chest. And Mike and Abby, they leave, and they don't want to ever come back. So that was the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. This movie kind of felt like that it didn't understand what it was trying to go for. It didn't know if it wanted to be a horror movie or if it wanted to be a fun, kidsy type movie. They made it PG-13, so they couldn't show a whole lot of the stuff that normal horror movies would do. And then right in the middle, they kind of ruined the whole scariness of the animatronics by building a fort in the middle of the place with a little kid. Kind of takes away from the scariness of it all. Wasn't scary. I don't even think a 5-year-old would be scared by this movie. Which Five Nights at Freddy's wasn't really that scary to begin with. It was just the jump scares that got people. And there wasn't any of that in this movie either. I did appreciate the YouTuber cameos. That's basically what put the game on the map in the first place, was the publicity from YouTube. I don't really get it. I don't really get what they were trying to go for with this movie. I don't even think they really knew what they wanted to do with this movie. So that's why I'd have to give it a 5 out of 10. It was good for nostalgia reasons, because I loved playing the game. But other than that, it's not a good movie. They didn't really have a coherent plot, and it kind of felt like nothing really happened. Mike and Abby are basically at the same place that they were before the movie, just a little bit more traumatized. Subscribe if you haven't, and thank you for watching.